How to become the ultimate hybrid player. Unless you are lucky enough to be born into a rich family, wealthy family, or just a family who has a bunch of PCs laying around, you started on console. Or if you said, F the console, I'm going straight to PC, then this video is not for you. This video is for the people who started from console and made their way to PC. I started on console because, you know what I mean? I'm not the wealthiest, I ain't got that much money, and I started on console, just like everyone else. On console, I use controller pretty much majority of the time I was on console. And then I plugged in keyboard and mouse once it was supported for the PS4. And at that time, I was playing Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War, Warzone, and all that. I became so good at it that I felt like I needed to evolve. Like, I felt like my frames were holding me back, because playing keyboard and mouse on console, let's face it, it's not the best, way to go about it, but it does give you an advantage to those controller players. So I got a PC, and I did strictly keyboard and mouse for about 2.5 years. I only did keyboard and mouse on my computer. I struggled a lot, but I didn't give up because this was something I felt I could do and I wanted to do. After I became really good at keyboard and mouse on PC, I felt like I was still not at my best. So what did I do? I leveled up and I became the ultimate hybrid player. It took me around 4 years of consistency to actually be comfortable to play keyboard and mouse and controller. It took quite some time, I'm not gonna lie. Some struggles I faced when doing the whole journey to hybrid, my aim would fluctuate between being good and being absolute dog. There was no in between. It was either I was aimbotting or bot was aiming me. Okay, it was a battle. I wanted to give up so many times because majority of the time my days were bad. My aim was absolute dog meat because I was going back and forth between controller and keyboard and mouse. I honestly had no idea what I was getting myself into when I switched over to PC keyboard and mouse, even console keyboard and mouse. I didn't know about DPI, I didn't know about sized keyboards, the size of the mouse, all of that. I didn't know any of that. I did not know what I was getting myself into. And the overwhelming feeling of not being able to complete the task of becoming a hybrid player, because like I said, majority of the time, my aim was dog shit. So I just felt like I wasn't gonna be able to either play keyboard or mouse or controller. I just felt like my aim was going to be absolute dog meat the whole time, and yeah, just doubtful in the whole process. And as I kept going and I kept being consistent, the results I got were absolutely amazing. Now, if you were to give me a controller or a keyboard, it would not matter. I'd still probably dominate an average COD lobby. My lobby's not so much because I'm still working on my craft, but I am to the point where I am comfortable enough to either pick up a controller or a keyboard and mouse. So here are 6 pieces of advice I can give you that I've learned through my journey of becoming a hybrid player. Number 1, practice one thing at a time. There's nothing more dreadful than trying to do a million tasks at the same time and dividing your energy when you can just focus on one, master it, and then move on. Practice one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to do keyboard and mouse at the same time, because trust me, it will not work. You will struggle. Don't burn yourself out. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like this is too much for you, take a step back, take a break, maybe go for a walk, read a book, do something else. If you feel like it is overwhelming you and you are getting frustrated every time you play the game, then take a step back and reevaluate the situation and then come back later. Don't burn out. Burnout is the worst feeling ever, because then you feel like it was your fault, So don't get burnt out. Take breaks. Before you switch to keyboard and mouse, do some research. Do a week's worth of research at minimum, because everyone is different. There was a lot that plays into buying a keyboard, and there's a lot that plays into buying a mouse. Do you want ergonomic, or do you just want it? You know what I mean? Like, just like a SCUF controller, you're just not gonna go buy the first SCUF controller you see. It may not fit your needs. Do some research. Reading is fundamental, and believe that you will succeed. There is nothing better than believing in yourself. I struggled with this. I still struggle with believing in myself now. As long as you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. I know you heard it in school. You probably hear it on the street. It's true. Just tell yourself. Literally vocalize you will become a hybrid player. You will become this, you will do this, you will do that, and it will happen. Manifestation, affirmations, it's all real. Just believe. Tell yourself it will happen. No ifs, no buts. It will. All caps, bold, italics, underline, all of it. Start slow with your sensitivity. One misconception I heard is that you can jump on a controller and just jump straight to the max sense. It don't work like that. You're gonna be all over the place. Same thing with keyboard and mouse. You just can't plug in your keyboard and mouse and crank that sensitivity all the way up and think you finna be nice, cause you're not. I promise you're not. You gotta start slow. You can't run before you walk, can you? And you can't walk before you crawl. You can't crawl before you wobble and scoot on the floor like a little worm. Take your time, move slow. I'm not saying start at 1 and then, jump to 10. Start at 5. The average controller sensitivity I see pros playing on is between 5 and 10. That is the sweet spot for the, average player. But if you're new, I would say stick between 5 and 7. I started off at 5 and 7, and I felt like it was too slow after about a couple months. So I moved up to 10, and now I'm playing on 13s and shit. So start slow, move up. Same thing with the mouse. Start on 400 DPI. Crank up your sensitivity to about a 12. That'll give you a steady, even pace where you're not shaky, wobbly. It's not too slow. And then once you're comfortable with that, bump it up to 800 DPI. Crank down your sensitivity to probably like a 8 or something, and it's still the same. And then bump it up to 16. So you get the gist. Start slow, work your way up. I know YouTubers, Call of Duty pros, they give you their settings, their control binds and all that. Don't follow it. Be you. Be original. The best thing you can do is be yourself, because what settings might work for Swag will not work for Jeremy. So don't be trying to copy his settings. The only settings I recommend you do copy are graphic settings. Graphic and audio. When it comes to control binds and the way things are done, don't copy other people's settings, because it will hurt you in the long run. And practice always makes perfect. You've heard it a million times, and it's true. You're not born knowing. You have to learn. Life is about learning, so practice. It's like studying. Practice. And there are benefits to becoming a hybrid player, not only in the gaming aspect, but in real life too. I've noticed it greatly increases your critical thinking and how you move about things, especially in the game. I've noticed that when I play on controller, I'm not as aggressive. I'm not pushing as much because I don't have that control I would have on a keyboard and mouse. So I won't be I'll still be aggressive, trust. I'm still pushing your spawn, but I'm not going to be doing it every time. I'm thinking before I do it, because I don't have that same control I would have on keyboard and mouse. See, if I hop on keyboard and mouse, I don't really got to think, because my body is pretty much taking control. My arm does it for me, you know what I mean? So it helps critical thinking. You also acquire your skill not many can do. Not many people know how to play keyboard and mouse and controller, nor do they take the time to practice it. So that's another benefit. You build muscle memory. Like, have you ever wanted to learn how to type on a keyboard without looking at it? That'll help you. Have you ever wanted to learn how to control your arm? That'll help with the mouse. It's muscle memory is very important, especially if you're an athlete. Who doesn't like learning a new skill to kick some butt in a video game? You know what I mean? You just like one-upping everybody in the gaming scene. I would be bragging. I'm a hybrid player and you're not. I could smack you on controller and keyboard and mouse. You feel me? To conclude all of this, I honestly thought becoming a hybrid player or even making a switch was pointless, because it's like, who cares? It's like, what benefits does it really have? Until I actually tried it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it impacted me a lot, because not only did I learn patience, I learned to believe in myself. I learned that things do come with time, and you get what you want as long as you're persistent. Become a hybrid player today, you know what I mean? Go crazy, dominate the COD lobbies. Modern Warfare 2 just dropped. Warzone 2 finna have like a Rebirth Island kind of thing coming out, so why not practice and get ready for that? Just stack them clips, become the next Swag, you know what I mean? Anyway, it's been real. I'm out. Peace.